welcome back to Breakfast with Boots. I'm your host, Becca Boots, and today is our third part in our 10-part series where I bring fantastic people from my network onto the podcast who live and breathe health and well-being in everything they do. Now today I have the wonderful Ali Bell with me, and she is going to talk to you all about health and fitness. Ali Bell has been in the fitness industry for over 12 years. First as a personal trainer, and now she has found her niche in teaching Boxercise. You will love her now, and I know you're going to get loads of insight into how to look after your health and well-being, especially staying fit while we're at home. So let's bring her on. Hi, Ali. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's so good to have you on.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely. I've given people a bit of an introduction to you, but do you want to tell us some more about your journey, who you are, and kind of what you do?
What I do, I sometimes ask myself that question, to be honest. I do lots of different things, to be honest, but obviously we're here to focus on well-being, mindfulness, exercise, so that's what I will focus on. I am a Boxercise, Boxercise instructor, that's what I love, and that's what I've been doing now, just since last July. I qualified as a PT in 2008, and I was working in an office at the same time, so I had two jobs. Worked in a gym while I was qualifying, which I really enjoyed. Worked mornings and evenings, and then worked during the day. But that was fine. It was what I wanted to do. It was good fun, and got my qualification. And then took up personal training as a side job. I trained Annie Lennox actually in a gym that I was training in or working in. For about, I can't recall now, several months, maybe a year. She's a lovely lady. So did the training, and then in 2010, I think, I did a Boxercise or a boxing class course. I can remember going to friends for dinner that evening, and they just, I'm a bit manic anyway, and I think they were just like, God, what has happened to her? She's just climbing the wall. I was just so fired up. It was just so fantastic. I think I was just motor mouth for the whole evening, and I just loved it. I loved the whole, I don't know, I guess because I'm a very active person anyway, just hitting something and feeling good and getting rid of all that excess energy for me was just fantastic. And it just, my endorphins were just all over the place. It was just mad. So I did that, and then brought that into some of my PT classes. And I haven't done too much over the last few years, to be honest. I've been doing my PA business that I have. And then last year I just thought, I was chatting to some people, and they said, your face lights up every time you talk about sport, every time you talk about Boxercise, just do it. And this was about 2 years ago. So finally, last July, I got my Boxercise license, and have been. It's tough to market something that's new. There are lots of people doing classes out there. It's so I started off doing a couple of classes in my local town in Tain, evenings. It took time to take off, but these things do, and it's how much social media you want to do as well. But I love it. I really do love it. It just, I work evenings, and I just love it. That's all I can say. I just love it.
Brilliant. It sounds like you're definitely going, because don't you, when your passion comes forward, when you talk about something, that you've got to follow that passion, haven't you?
Fantastic. Definitely. Oh yeah, totally. And I think, I love seeing people enjoy themselves as well. I had in one of my classes, one of my earlier classes, I had a lady come to one of the classes, very timid, a really lovely lady, very scared. I've never done anything like this before, and my view is it's not my class to exercise and train, and I should be there coaching the people that are coming. But if we're odd numbers and we don't pair it, I haven't got enough numbers, then I will pad for somebody. And I instructed her on all the punches, and she was like, just this, It's like, just hit me. You can just hit. And then she started to, and the stress started. I literally saw, and I've never seen something like it before. The stress just drained from her face, and suddenly her eyes went wide, and there was this just massive smile. And she was, oh, I quite like this. And it was just, for me, that was just it. That's what it's all about. It's just giving you the confidence to just do something you've never tried before and enjoy it. So yeah, it's good. It's good. That's all I can say.
That's true, isn't it? They say, don't you, if you're angry and you've got all pent up frustration in you, then punch your pillow. And there's only so much you can get out of that. So when you're in a class and you're vibing off everyone else, you're punching the pads. I love Boxercise, and I love there was, in the gym I used to go to, there was a big box bag, whatever you call it. You've got a technical word for it. Yeah. And I used to love kicking that. I probably hurt myself more than the bag, but I used to love that.
No, it is good fun. I did a class, a Zoom class on Saturday, for an hour, and afterwards I just thought, oh, sorry, I'm just going to continue. And I did, because I did a kickboxing class, of course, during lockdown, and I just wanted to practice. And I think I did it for another 45 minutes, just because I just couldn't stop myself, actually, which was a bit obsessive. But anyway, it was my punch bag and it was my garden, so it didn't really matter.
I'd love to have a punch bag in my garden. We were talking about that, like put one in the garage or something that you can just...
Yeah, it hangs from the rafters in the garage, and I bring it out and tie it to chairs for my Boxercise classes, so that I can take classes. Yeah.
Brilliant. So you're still doing lots online then at the moment?
Yes, I mean, yes, I am. Yeah, I'm doing just 3 a week actually at the moment, and I do some other classes. I've been doing quite a lot of free stuff as well in my private group, but we all need to start earning money at some point. So I'm going to change this a little bit. But the Boxercise, my regulars are doing with me on Zoom now. So that's good, actually. And it's nice, because Facebook, you can't see people if you're doing Facebook Live. Yeah. But Zoom, you can.
Yeah, you can all do it together, can't you?
Yeah, it's good.
So 12 years as a personal trainer, a long time. You must have seen everything. Tell me about your time as a PT.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did it for a while. I did it for 3 or 4 years, full on, or much more full on than I did. Then I did my other business, and I sort of coached 1 or 2 people occasionally. Well, I did coach 1 or 2 people, and they were regulars that I'd go to. So I'd go to a lady in Beaconsfield, and she'd never really done exercise before, and she just wanted to lose weight and train. And actually, I took the boxing to her. I wasn't then a Boxercise instructor, but I could coach boxing for exercise, not to go and punch somebody in a ring. And she loved it, and I took the dog as well. So we sort of do running and training and that sort of thing. Like I say, I mean, I worked in a gym as well. So, I mean, gyms, you get to meet lots of lovely different people. They're not necessarily people you would always choose to personally train or work with. I mean, I think having a personal trainer, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like having a business consultant, a PA, a marketing, whatever. It's all about a personal fit and a click, a personality click. So I think that's really essential from an exercising perspective anyway, even if you're going to classes or your personal trainer. We don't all have to like everything, and we all have to have a personality fit with the person that's taking the class. You may not like, I mean, there are some classes I don't do just because I don't like the form of exercise, or it's not the way I want to work out, and that's fine. There is enough option out there for everybody to do different types of exercise and pick one that they like. I'm not offended if someone comes to my Boxercise, and it has happened. They've come to my Boxercise classes and they've said, no, it's not for us. And it's great. Thank you for trying. There is something there for you. So yeah, I mean, it's personal training is a good way into doing lots of other things and meeting lots of great people.
Yeah, I bet. I know when I had a personal trainer, when I've had a personal trainer, I've always been at my fittest. So like, I always find that they can push me in ways that I just can't ever push myself. And I think you find it, don't you, that people I know, they tell their personal trainers to like shout at them, or they tell them to push them, because you do need that like extra push to kind of, like, I remember we're leaving a personal training session, I couldn't even walk down the stairs. I was like, I loved it. That's what you want a personal trainer for.
Yeah, you do, absolutely. I mean, it's you don't spend that sort of money on trainers if you don't want them to push you and push you to your limits. Funnily enough, I met my husband. He was one of my clients, and we met, and obviously I'm now married. I will hasten to add, if anyone sees him, I don't train him at the moment. He won't let me, so that's all I'm going to say on that part. But I remember when I was training him, I forget to count, or my mind sometimes wanders off, or I just think, you know what, they're not working harder, do more and we'll start again, or I'll say just 2 more, oh no, go on, 3 more, type of thing. I mean, I'm that type. I'm quite a hard taskmaster. Even in my classes, I'm quite a hard taskmaster. So but I appreciate that people don't necessarily want to be pushed totally all of the time. But yeah, no, he always just look at me and said, he used to say, really, just 2, or are we going to do a few more than that, kind of thing? And there'd be a few not choice words thrown at me once I'd say something else. But yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun, and people do see the benefits as well. I mean, they may come in tired to a session or a class, but they certainly leave invigorated.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I found as well. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And also, you've expanded out into doing stuff with schools as well, haven't you?
Well, I have. Timing wasn't great though, was it?
No.
Yes. So September, I was working with a primary school locally, and I was already talking to 2 potentially 3 others because of the interest, and it was great. I was doing just 6 weeks. An hour a week. We'd do first 3 weeks of the term would be the boys, and then the second week would be the second 3 weeks would be the girls. They work differently. Some girls might be older, don't want to punch with boys and stuff like that. It is quite interesting. So I don't have children, and so this was a whole new experience for me. And seeing, I saw lots of things, how children react to each other. Picking teams, don't ask them to pick a team themselves, you pick the teams, but the boys just want to go for it. They just want to do everything all the time. They're like, oh my god. The girls tire a little more easily, but I do remember one gorgeous little girl, I mean, they're all lovely. She said to me, are we going to box? Are we going to box? It's like, yes, we're going to box. I want to box now. Are we going to box with gloves and pads? It's like, yes, we are. Yes, let's just warm up, and then I'll show you the technique. And this, she was like it every week. And then she just said, oh, I can't wait to get home and box my brother. It's just, just fantastic. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you have to keep them going. Technique is hard to train a child because all they want to do is punch. And you do find yourself sort of saying, can you not punch unless you've got the gloves on, because otherwise they seem to practice without, which is a little fatal, but or potentially. But no, I really enjoy it, and I've done a further course actually during lockdown, because Boxercise are now offering an awards system which I can sign up to, and then I can then sign children up to it. And they can do bronze, silver and gold awards. So it's sort of step by step. So that would be good. I think especially now, having spoken to a few people recently and over the weekend, I think I've been doing some Boxercise classes online through Zoom for children and families as well, so parents, which is good. But I think to have them, for the children to have something to actually aim for is quite nice. A certificate, they'll get I'm not quite sure if they get medals or not. I need to look into it more because it's only just been launched itself, but they certainly get a recognition. I think it's a certificate actually, a bronze certificate, a silver certificate, a gold certificate, to say that they are now Boxercise, Boxercise kids, so to speak. So I'd like to do that. And one of the girls that comes to my classes, she was a DV student, and I was doing some DV training for her so that she could get her DV certificate. and her mother's a yoga teacher. And I said to her one day, why don't we look at doing some kids' workshops during the holidays as opposed to school time? Because, you know, lots of parents work, obviously. Putting the kids into 2 or 3 days of workshops or fun day events is good. So I called it Boxing Yogis, or I should say we called it the Boxing Yogis. And we did a taster in February, and it was, again, a learning curve, massive learning curve. And we did sort of boxing and intermittent with yoga, and then obviously end of the day was definitely yoga. Try and send them home not too high on adrenaline. But it's a shame because I don't think we can do that. We plan to do a lot in the summer, but I think really that's something for when we go back to whatever normal is going to be, really. But yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. It's good.
That's really exciting as well, and definitely gives you a whole new element to add into it. So you've got the dynamic of the adults and then the children as well.
Yes, we did think about doing a boxing yogis for the mums as opposed to the kids in the holidays. We thought we could reverse it and then finish off with champagne at the end or something. Yeah. And surprisingly enough, the mothers were really up for that. So we'll see.
Champagne to anything, champagne and chocolate.
Exactly. No, that would be that would be good. That would be good fun. But again, I think that's another day. That's when all of this is over.
Yeah, it's a lot in the pipeline.
Yeah,
brilliant. So when training with children, so I always think, you know how when your children, like you were saying, like the boys and they want to do everything, they just run around, like they've got so much energy. Like I see children doing stuff, and I'm like, how have you got that energy? And I always think, what happens in between when obviously our lives fill up and get busier and busier, but when we're children, we have this childlike quality, that kind of where we just embrace exercise, we love fitness, we love running around, and then we lose that quite a lot when we get older and it becomes much more of a chore. So my question, I suppose, is what can we do to kind of bring that childlike energy into our lives now?
Go back to being a child.
Yeah.
We as adults inevitably get loaded up with work, with finances, with mortgages, with having our own children. Just the stress of life, I think, just takes, and we forget. I think as adults, we sometimes forget how to fully enjoy ourselves, how to just forget everything and just enjoy. Mm-hmm. If you think back to when we were kids, we would do exercise. Now, I was thinking about it again this morning. We do exercise, and we just do it when we're kids. We're told to do it, and we just do it. I mean, if we don't like it, we'll get our mums to write us a sick note to get out of that specific one. But that's what we used to do, didn't we? But now, for some reason, as adults, we think we should be exercising, we should be doing this, but we forget about. So we'll say the gym, we should be going to the gym. Well, why? Do you like the gym? Well, not really. So why do it? I mean, I think go back to what it was you enjoyed at school, or try something different. I mean, I used to play county tennis. I used to do a lot of hockey, did netball, but not so much. Lots and lots of running. Was quite a good all-round sporty person. And as I've grown up, I've always leaned towards the sports that I was good at when I was younger, or the ones that I specialised in more. You tend to do that, don't you? It's like, oh, I'll go to a badminton club or join a tennis club. And during the last week, actually, and pre-lockdown as well, I considered it a little bit. I suddenly thought, actually, I would like to go back, when we were out of this, to go back and play netball. I used to love it, but it was not something that I ever excelled beyond with everything as well as everything else. But it's a great team sport. I did it at a boot camp 2 years ago with a friend. We went on a weekend boot camp. Just absolutely loved it, and it's a whole team spirit thing. So I think when we're kids, we play a lot with other people, with other children. We interact with other children. We laugh with other children. And I think sometimes as adults, we forget that exercise can be exactly the same for us as well. Just need to find out what it is that we like to do. So team sports, walking doesn't have to be on your own. We can walk with friends. If you've got a dog, then great, take your dog too. do challenges with friends. It doesn't have to just be something that's been organised by something else. If you don't want to go and do an organised class of some sort, then do something with friends. I think it's important to do things that we enjoy, not to do things that we think we should do because we were perhaps good at them before. It has to be downtime. It shouldn't be a chore.
Yeah,
that's the thing, I think.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's what you forget, doesn't it? Like you go into the automatic pilot, like you say, going to the gym. I've got to go to the gym now, and you're running on the treadmill, where looking outside when you could be running outside because it's a lovely blue day or something. So you kind of just almost take the easier route, which is actually a lot harder long term.
Yes, it is, and put it into your diary if you need to. If that's the way. I was talking to my husband about it, and he said, "Oh no, you don't want to diarise it. That makes it a chore." Well, it doesn't. Sometimes it can push you to do it because it's in your diary, and you know you're going to enjoy doing it. As long as it's something it's about getting it all right, but not thinking too hard about it as well. Because if you do think too hard, it does become a chore. So just think, right, I feel like going for a walk this morning. It's a beautiful morning. This is my exercise slot, perhaps to sort of take it into your routine. I'm just going to go for a walk this morning, but it's just. Spontaneity as well. We've lost that. We lose spontaneity, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Exactly.
It's so true. Everything. It's finding that balance, though, isn't it? Between, like you said, scheduling it and putting it in, because they say the best way to make sure you're doing self-care, for example, is to schedule it in the diary as a non-movable thing. But then again, you lose that spontaneity of when you actually think, oh, I feel like a bit of self-care, or like a walk in the park, but because you haven't scheduled it. So it's kind of, it's finding the balancing act between the two, isn't it?
Yes, and there is nothing set in stone to say that it's right. It's what's right for you. What's right for you isn't necessarily right for others. So you must do what's right for you and enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, be creative as well. Like if you don't enjoy something, or you don't find it's one, like creating a habit. To create a habit, you have to enjoy it as well, don't you? So I think to like bring in that kind of creativity of what you want to do and play around. If you don't like it, then switch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And do with friends as well. I mean, I'm sure people find that people are friends with friends because they have lots in common. So talk to friends about it and say, oh, are you having the same problem as me? I mean, Zoom has become a wonderful thing now, out of lockdown, during lockdown, or because of lockdown. We're all doing lots of different things together on Zoom. So talk to friends and see what they feel like doing, and do something on a daily basis to A, catch up with your friends, and B, you can do exercise at the same time and play your own music if you want to. So, I mean, there's nothing better than dancing around the house, is there? For, I don't know, some great tunes on there, and that's just a great way. And that's a fantastic form of exercise in itself.
Yeah. So to that, and that makes me think of like during lockdown, I suppose our conditions are so different, aren't they, to post-lockdown or pre-lockdown? Because I know my partner loves the gym, and he had a beautiful routine of going to the gym in the morning and then going on to work after and get it done in the morning. And I think for him, he's really missing that element of it. So what can people do if they're used to using a structured thing like a gym and classes? What can they do now to kind of keep moving?
There are lots of things online. I mean, there are lots of Zoom classes, there's YouTube, there's your local gym. I mean, the local gym here actually that I was a member of for a while is doing free classes on Facebook, which is great, absolutely fantastic. And they're recorded, so if you can't do them at the time that they're set for, then you can do them and that's what I'm doing with my classes in my Boxercise group. So there are things to do. A lot of people don't like going online, or it is that whole thing, I've got to set up the computer, it doesn't feel like exercise, and I get that. So cycle rides, walking, running. You can still go into the park, and you could perhaps set up your own little routine in a park with some interval runs, some squats, some lunges. He could still do his gym routine in the park. He doesn't need weights, or people don't need weights. Body weight is just as good for toning than anything else. I mean, okay, weights will give you the muscle strength if you do enough reps, etc., etc. But to get what I would assume to get the benefit of exercise, do it outside and do the same sort of routine, but we don't need the weight. So you can adapt, but it's finding those. Skipping as well, skipping ropes. I mean, they are a fantastic way to, well, A, to take us back to our youth, and B, to get our cardio going. So yeah, even think about what you did as a child, and take that to the park and do it in the park. There are lots of different things to do. It's just trying to be creative. You know, you can even use tin cans for cans of beans and cans of tomatoes for weights if you're out of weights or something like this. Although apparently Amazon is busier than it, or the postman was saying that he's been as busier than ever, busier than Christmas, delivering things from Amazon recently. So you can still get stuff online, so you could buy some weights if you needed them online. But
yeah,
it's hard. But I think what's crucial in lockdown is just try and stick to some form of working routine as well. So if the partner did do the gym in the morning, then still do the gym, still get up and do something in the morning, especially with the weather so beautiful, and then do work. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find I'm more productive. I mean, I've been working from home since 2011 anyway, but when I did have a contract before, I was more productive working from home anyway, so I didn't need to work so many hours. So there was a little more time to do other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about finding, is there something that you've always thought would be great fun to try as an exercise? Go try it now. I mean, now is the opportunity to try out so many different things. You know, you can get those ladders, I think they're about $8.99 on Amazon. You know, the pull-out ladders, you can do hopscotch in, and you can do little shuttle runs in, and in, out, bunny hops, and all that sort of different stuff. Put a few socks and use them as cones to run around. Okay, I know it's sort of a kiddie thing, but they don't have to be so close together for our larger limbs, and they could be a bit wider apart, and you can do sort of in and out and different running exercises, jumping, squats, do it to music as well, because, you know, but do something different every day as well if you get bored of that.
Yeah.
So now's the opportunity to try things you've never tried before.
I like that. Great tweet. I love that.
I come up with these ideas and I forget them.
Write them down for you and send
them to me later.
So you were saying about your routine and about how you work better in the morning and things like that. Like I was always better. I moved, so I never could do a morning exercise ever. I was always an after work kind of girl. And I met my partner and he did morning, and I was like, how do you do the morning? And then he said, just, you need to get out of bed and just do it. And so I did, and I fell in love with exercising in the morning then. And my kind of question, I suppose, is probably the age-old question of, is there a better time to exercise?
The time to exercise is when it suits you. There's always been a lot of people I've heard over the years, oh, you know, if you exercise in the morning before you eat breakfast, if it's a weight thing, then you'll lose more weight. Or, you know, you'll burn off the fat that's been sitting on your tummy and everything else in your body overnight, and it will go. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea if any of that is true. And I would hate to say it were, and I'd hate to say it weren't. Only you know how your body operates, and everyone's metabolisms from a weight perspective are different. But from an exercise perspective, I'm like you. I used to, about 10 years ago, I exercised at lunchtime because there was a gym where I was working, and I'd go in the lunchtime. But like you now, I get up 6:30, take the dog for a walk, do some other exercise, and then I'm done for the day. And it does set you up for the day. It totally does. I know that there are, just from my Boxercise classes, I know there are lots of people who because of children constraints, because of, well, obviously homeschooling now is one thing, but also younger children going to bed, they don't exercise and can't exercise until around about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening, which is why I do some classes at that time of the evening, which for me is like, oh my God, it's far too late, but it works for them, and they come along, and that's great. And it also stops me from having a glass of wine at that time of the evening anyway. But so I think circumstances, family circumstances and job circumstances will often dictate a little towards how and when you exercise, but there is no set in stone, you should do it at this time or that time. The Journal of Physiology in 2019 did say that if you exercise between 1 and 4, it has exactly the same impact as if you're exercising in the morning. So it will re-energize you, it will release those endorphins, it will just motivate you again to sort of get up and restart the day. I mean, there's often that thing that if you eat at lunchtime, everyone just wants to sleep, don't they, in the afternoon? So that could potentially, therefore, lunch, let it settle, work out, and then you can perhaps work later into the evening or into the early evening, I suppose. I guess a lot depends on what your daily schedule looks like. But I'm like you, mornings for me. I know there are lots of people that don't like to set the alarm to get up to have to work out. They don't mind setting the alarm to get up to work and have breakfast and work. But it's horses for courses. It's what suits you is the right way to do it, because then you'll do it. If you're trying to do it because other people say, oh, you should be doing it at this time, forget it, you won't do it.
I like that. It's a very, very personal thing, isn't it? And I think you can switch from one to the other if you actually start trying it and think, like I did, oh, I really like this. But I'd completely agree with that. It's whatever gets you moving, isn't it? It works.
Mine recently, I mean, I love cycling. I just love cycling. I do lots of cycling holidays with a girlfriend of mine. And recently, during lockdown, I have been on a Saturday afternoon, just at 4 o'clock, just thought, I want to go for a cycle ride now. And it's the end of the day. It's pre dinner drinks, and it's so I go out and the sun is setting, and it's just, well, okay, in April it was setting. It'll start to set later soon, but it's just a lovely time of the day. I mean, there is that thing of get up and go out early in the mornings on the weekend, but there is also that, oh, it's the weekend, a bit of a lie-in would be nice. And I've really enjoyed the sort of later afternoon cycle rides. It's just been, it's finished the day off really nicely for me, and that's quite rare for me because I like to just get it done. I enjoy it, but I like to get it done. So it feels then that I'm doing it because I really enjoy it rather than having to do it. It feels a little decadent even.
Treating yourself.
Yeah, I do. It's really nice.
Oh. We started doing because we were doing one, we could only do one outing a day. We were doing our one walk a day, and I found that actually I like kind of preferred eating dinner and then walking it off gently after. That really helped me. And I've been doing a lot of around yoga and meditation, and finding that they were saying about walking meditation and how that's really, really good to get your digestive bits going. And it feels so much nicer when you come home and you're not full and you're sitting on the couch like, whoa.
And you don't need to do it for long. 20 minutes is enough to walk off your supper, your dinner. Yeah.
So is there along the same kind of lines of questioning with the time of day, is there a kind of minimum amount of exercise you want to do in time timings?
I mean, a good 15-20 minutes. I mean, there's HIIT, which is high intensive interval training, getting the eyes the right way around. It is a good way. It's literal small bursts of 30 seconds exercise, 10 seconds off, or something along those lines. If you have a really good 15-minute workout, a good structured 15-minute workout, that's as good as you know, going for a 2-hour cycle ride. It doesn't have to be. It's just something that just kickstarts the body and re-energizes it, and you know, the brain goes ka-ching, and the light bulb moment. And I mean, I'm even just walking the dog sometimes. I mean, I'm at my best when I have no phone and I can just walk, and then suddenly ideas will pop into my head, and that's just stimulated by me just taking the dog for a walk. Because we're not distracted, we're not thinking about other things. I mean, obviously try and clear your mind, but we're not distracted, we're not thinking about other things. Perhaps there is something that we wanted to focus on that will then spring to mind, and you'll be able to resolve any issues. So it's a good opportunity just to clear your mind and think about and have clarity. I think have some clarity in your thoughts. But no, going back to your question, absolutely, 15-20 minutes is enough if that's all you want to do. But make sure it's a good 15-20 minutes. I mean, not just a snail pace walk. I mean, you might as well, if you're going to do it. Yeah, exactly. Then it's got to be worthwhile. 15-20 minutes if you're going to do 15 or 20 minutes.
Brilliant.
I mean, you can even do seated exercises. I did a post on LinkedIn, some Boxercise seated exercises, which would take you probably not even 5 minutes, probably 3 or 4 minutes. So yeah, you can all do this and that and everything else when you sat down as well. And it's just keep yourself moving a little bit, which is good.
And that's key for the elderly at the moment as well, isn't it? Because then they're probably going to have to stay indoors for longer than other people as well. And my dad, he teaches Tai Chi, and he's doing a lot of trying to keep that gentle movement for the elderly going. And that's hard to do, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is. I mean, my mum is the same. It's like she's 80 and very fit. But it's also getting them motivated to go out, because they are on their own so much more, because obviously interaction, etc. It's one thing Zoom and Facebook and Facebook Live and FaceTime even and calls, but it's something having people actually there to motivate them. And I took some food round to my mum last week, and I said, come on, let's just go for a walk. Obviously we kept our distance and everything, and she just thought, this is just so much nicer having somebody here, and I think that's what's key at the moment. So for them to go out walking, getting some air, okay, I know there's not always someone with the elderly, but if they're able to go out just to see some different faces, even though they can't necessarily talk to anybody, and just that fresh air, not the same 4 walls or however many walls it is, it's key. I mean, activity at the moment for the elderly is absolutely key. Yeah, for their sanity as much as their sort of physical well-being, for their mental well-being as well. It's massive. Yeah. And where they can, if we can all just incentivize our parents, they don't have to have strangers coming to their door or on Zoom or whatever. We as I said to my mum, what we start doing is we'll probably do it once a week, a half an hour dance, just to some music that she likes, and we'll just dance around the house. So she'll dance around her flat, I'll dance around in my kitchen or wherever, or the house, something, I don't know, looking ridiculous, just because then she'll feel as if she's with me. And we'll play some music that we both like. And she used to love to dance, as long as she doesn't do anything to her hip or a knee or something else, then I'll have to call out the emergency services. But it just means that she'll feel as if she's with me and we're doing something. We can all do that with our parents just once a week. I think it will really help them a lot. Yeah, definitely a lot.
Yeah. That's huge. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the worrying thing at the moment, isn't it? A lot about people's mental health and keeping them like emotionally like up without that connection that we are so used to. With the funny thing always blows my mind is that a while, not even that long ago, they used to separate the body and mind, didn't they? They used to be like, focus on your body, and then the mind is 2 different things. They're not interconnected. Now people obviously understand about how your physical health affects your mental health and vice versa. What would you say is like the most useful things people can do with their physical health to support their mental health?
Physical health, I think it goes back to making sure you're doing something you enjoy. Obviously, if you enjoy it, it has to be something you enjoy. If it feels like a chore, then forget it, which we obviously spoke about earlier. If you need the willpower to do something, it's a bit like, making those New Year's resolutions. I am going to go to the gym once a day, every day for the rest of my life. Rubbish. You've not done it for years. You're really not going to go now. It's just not going to happen. So set those targets lower. once a week is fine. An awful lot better than not at all. If you've got to have the willpower to do something, then you shouldn't really be doing it. Well, in my view, it's going to be harder for you to continue to do it. I'm not going to say you shouldn't be doing it, because everyone's different. But so if you have to have the willpower to do something, then you probably don't really want to do it in the first place. So if you're going in with the mindset that you're doing it to enjoy it, and it's an exercise you enjoy doing, then that's going to have a much more positive impact on your mental stability, if you like, your mental, your mindfulness, your peace in mind, and the way you operate, your stress levels as well. I mean, so if you're doing it for the right reasons, that's going to have a very positive impact on your mind. I mean, exercise, you know, obviously we all know endorphins, serotonin. It increases your feel-good factor, gives you confidence, because you know you might think, God, I really don't want to do this, but you know you're doing it because you enjoy it, but your mind is saying, yes, but you're pushing me too hard. But then when you come out the other end of it, you've really enjoyed it, and you've got that sense of satisfaction, you've got that confidence of, yes, I can do this. You're then going to start to feel, okay, great. And then it starts to sort of move upwards. I have done it. Great. Pat myself on the back. Then you're going to have these ideas. Your mind is going to be motoring forward, and you'll just feel much more positive. So, I mean, we all know that physical exercise or physical activity of any sort helps relieve stress, depression, anxiety. I was reading on one of the Boxercise groups, the Boxercise group that I'm a member of. There's a lady there, and she'd started working with slightly less abled people doing Boxercise. And through the lockdown, a couple of the ladies she was training have become confident enough to get jobs doing something. And that's just a fantastic story. It's an absolutely wonderful story. So, and they said it was due to the exercise and the confidence that they had gained through this ladies' classes that gave them the wherewithal, the confidence, the gumption to just go and get a job and feel confident doing it. So that's a great story. And I think, yeah, I mean, you have to do something you're enjoying for it to have the positive effect. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then you're probably just going to become, if you're depressed, more depressed, because you're going to feel like you're not getting the best out of it, and then you'll start, it's a slippery slope downhill. So first thing is, make sure you're doing something you enjoy. Pat yourself on the back for doing it. Don't set your goals high. I mean, once a week is fantastic. And if you find that once a week it's not the right exercise for you, then try the next week doing something different. It's a trial and error thing until you find the right thing, to find the right activity. But if you see it as a positive and you enjoy it, then it's a win-win. It's definitely a win-win.
Yeah. That's huge, isn't it? It's the enjoyment of it that actually then releases that kind of endorphins even more so.
Yeah.
And you was talking about in nature as well, and how nature is so good to like release that kind of in your mind.
It is totally. I mean, I do my classes outside, which is great, because the birds are chirping away at the moment. I think they're thinking, great, the sky's our own. Let me out there, kind of thing. But you know, just walking, you can hear, even if you're just walking or running. I don't actually cycle or run with any music on. I don't like it. I like to hear what's coming up behind me, especially on a bike. But B, I just think, what's the point? I'm trying to escape all of that noise. Why take it with me on a run or on my bike? And yeah, the beautiful sound of nature, while that probably sounds a little cheesy, is actually really lovely, especially now. Although the other day I did see we're not that far from Bryce Norton, so I did see a plane coming over the other day, and it was actually quite nice to see. It was like, oh my God, there's a plane.
Life does exist still.
Exactly. And there's Benson's not that far, and there's the the helicopters, as they do Air Force helicopters, isn't it, over there? And there was one came over the other day, and you could just see the people that everywhere. Oh my God, is it a plane? Is it, it's no, it's a helicopter. But nature. It's good to be outside as well, especially in this weather.
Oh God, yeah, make the most of it.
Totally.
So my last question for you, before we ask to let people know where they can find you, is, so everything I do in my podcast and everything I do in my work is all about giving people the confidence and the tools that they need to help take the control back into their own lives of how to look after their well-being. So what one thing would you say that people could do today to improve their emotional health and well-being?
Pick what works for you best, what form of exercise you feel like doing. If it's exercise, no, let me start that again. Pick something you like to do, whatever it is, and just give it a go. Just do it. It doesn't have to be exercise. It can be anything. It can be reading a funny book. We've got the Peanuts album downstairs, and there's a book club thing on LinkedIn. I'm tempted just to say, I read this at the weekend. It's just, do something that you enjoy, because if you're doing something you enjoy, then it would automatically release positive energy within you. And don't make it a chore.
Love that. And that's the thing, isn't it? Don't make it a chore, because as soon as anything becomes work,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ali. It has been so lovely. Where can people find you if they want to know more about your Boxercise classes?
I can't. Absolutely. Well, I don't have a website at the moment, so thank you for asking. Ali's Boxercise Tame is my Facebook page. I am on LinkedIn, Alison Bell, as a PA on there, and the Boxercise is up on there as well. Or email me at alison@fitbox.org.uk. It'd be great to hear from anybody if they'd like to hear more. But thank you so much. It's been so lovely to chat to you.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Thank you. And it's so hard for people to exercise at the moment with the change in lifestyle. So this has been so helpful for everyone. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
And before we go, nearly forgot. It's got to be the first time I nearly forgot. Maui habit. Hold the phone. So everybody, I want you to get comfortable. Put your feet on the ground. I want to roll your shoulders back and relax yourself. And when you're ready, I want you to say, today is going to be a great day.
Today is going to be a great day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ali. You look lovely and serene now.
Really?
You look so serene there.
I keep trying meditation, but I always get distracted. That's one thing I do need to focus on, meditation.
Yeah. Work that meditation muscle instead. Thank you so much. And we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.